Well, good evening, everybody. If you guys can hear me clearly, the chat. Those of you on the webinar, on the conference call, if you are in front of your computer, you can go to Live One Dream. That is live the number one dream.info, and you will be able to see everything that it is I am speaking about tonight. Well, welcome everybody. This is our Saturday Night Live Mindset Training. My name is Brandon Ivey. I am a global with Shopping Sherlock, and glad to be doing this presentation tonight. Tonight is a very, I don't want to say nostalgic, but it's an important night for me because this is the last day of me being 37 years old. And I know that may sound silly, but it always, at times like this, I reflect. I reflect on my life. I reflect on my family. I reflect on my accomplishments. Am I where I need to be? So it's like New Year's Eve, especially the older that I get. And it's important to me because I'm be turning 38, getting closer to 40. And it's a new era in my life. And I started network marketing at the age of, what was I don't know, 21, 22. It was December 1998 when I first got started in the industry of network marketing. I was a senior in college at the time, looking forward to, my future, corporate America, getting married, having kids, and in fact, that month, yeah, that's right, that month my first son was born. He was born December 2nd, 1998, and that's the same month I got involved in network marketing. So it was a whole new chapter for me in two different ways. I was no longer responsible just for myself. I had a family, and I'm leaving college, going into corporate America. It was a scary time as well. And at the time, I was starting to learn about how to build my business. What were the key things that I needed to know? And especially when you're dealing with network marketing, I heard the term that you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. What is this, Daniel? You just found out that your wife is expecting today? All right. Congratulations. Daniel's got a new one on the way. Well, at that time, I had heard the term, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And I looked around at the people in the company and on our team, and the people that were making a lot of money, and they had big teams or organizations, and they all had superstars on their teams that were just blowing it up. And in my mind at that time, I was like, man, if I could just have superstars on my team like that, I would be making a lot of money. If I could just have a leader join my team, if I can just get lucky like they do, my business is going to explode. And I had the wrong mindset at that time. And it also worked the other way, because there were top leaders in the company that would leave the company, and I would scratch my head and I couldn't understand why. I'm like, wait a minute. This is one of the greatest businesses around. Why in the world would they leave? Is there something wrong with the company? Is there something they know that I don't know? Maybe I need to look at what I'm doing. Maybe I need to move and leave as well because they left. And at the time, I had those thoughts. I have to understand, looking back on it, I was an amateur. Next week, we're going to be doing our series on mindset training, Go Pro. First half of it is Be a Professional. That's going to be next Saturday. But at the time, in my career, I was an amateur. I was looking at everybody else and what everybody else was doing as more important to what I was doing. I learned a lesson by that. And I was so preoccupied with what somebody else on the team was or was not doing, and whether they quit the company or what they had to say about the company and all this good stuff. And then I go to my upline and ask, so-and-so left, why did they leave? What's going on? That it impacted my own business. And I learned a lesson, and as the years went by, and I started to become more of a professional, I remember one gentleman, a big-time leader in the industry, a seven-figure earner in the industry, joins a company. It wasn't my company, but joined another company, and made all these promises about how long they were going to be with the company. It was the greatest thing next to sliced bread. Made all these videos, made everybody else feel stupid if they didn't join that company with them. And less than 3 months later, quit the company, joined another company, and threw a pipe bomb in the room of the company he just left. And what I mean by pipe bomb was talking about how bad the company was, that he wasn't making any money. So he had to move for the benefit of his family and his team to somewhere else. And what's interesting about that is, about 4 months later, the company he left crossed the $100 million club, and had some people join the company within 3 months were six-figure earners, and really learned a lesson. Just because one person or a group of people leave does not dictate the success or failure of a company or you as an individual. I learned a strong lesson at that time. To mind my business. And that's part of the training of tonight. That's called Do Your Part. And once I let that go of worrying about, it was another thing I learned too. I also used to be an amateur in this. I would always ask, how much money are you making? How much money are you making? How much money is the top earner in the company making? That's what amateurs ask. You want to know why? They say, I need to know so I know what my limits are. I need to know if anybody's making money in the company, therefore I can make money in the company. That's what an amateur would say. And I learned the lesson that it's not about who's making money and how much. The real question to ask is, what is the potential earning power for me in the company? When I switched that thinking, and that happened on my last company I was in, because the last company I was a part of, it was around for a year and a half. It wasn't having much success at all. There was nobody in the company doing anything important, anything significant, anything groundbreaking. There were a few six-figure earners at the time, but nothing that impressed me. Now, I'm used to working with people who make $50,000 to $100,000 a month. So you making $10,000, $8,000 a month is not impressive to me. And when I looked at the company, that was not the determining factor. I looked at the potential and said, oh, I know I could kill it. And I joined them. Within 3 months, I was a top producer in the company and #1 money earner. Put the company on the map, 500% growth within 3 months. And that was a lesson. And it was a lesson that not too many other people really learned, even though they witnessed it. It's not about what somebody else is making. It's not about who the top money earner is and how much they're making. It's not about how fast the company is growing in the United States or how many people in the team and how much traction is going. The people who make groundbreaking incomes, life-changing incomes. Look at what they can do, not what others are doing. Every single person on my team can quit today and I will still be a millionaire. And once you reach that aspect, you're really on the path of being a professional in your business. So here's the lesson for today. Do your part. The most dependable hand will be the one at the end of your own wrist. I want to say that one more time. The most dependable hand will be the one at the end of your own wrist. The most important person you will ever recruit is yourself, because do you realize that you can be in the company but you still haven't been recruited yet? All you did was pay the money to get started. But you're not in the business yet. I always sit back and look at the report. I see the people who get started. Then I look to their name and I see the people who hit star affiliate. I'm like, okay, that person's in the business now. Why? Because you need to be a star affiliate at least to start getting paid on your binary. Doesn't matter how much spillover you get. You got to be a star affiliate. You need to be a power affiliate to get promoted to the top levels of the company. So next thing I look at is who hit power. We just promoted a power today out of Japan named Mark Campbell. I already shut it off, Rod. We promoted Mark Campbell today. Power affiliate. And congratulations to Mark in Japan. And guess what? Within 24 hours, I predict, we're going to be promoting a new global. Within 24 hours, we're going to be promoting a new global. Within 3 weeks, we'll be promoting another global right after that. But it is all about doing your part. People will come and go. People will join your team and people will quit. People will say they'll be here forever and they'll quit tomorrow. But if you do your part, and if everybody focuses on doing your part, I can show you how to walk off your job without ever signing up the superstar of having a bunch of average people on your team. You can walk off your job and earn a full-time income if everybody does their part. I'm going to come out with the clothing line, or like shirts and t-shirts and stuff later, talking about I did my part. Maybe I'll have something like that ready before the cruise. So everybody on the cruise has their t-shirt, I did my part. Remember, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And if everybody does their part, everybody wins. You're only as strong as the weakest link. And if the weakest link does their part, everybody walks off their job. I'm saying that multiple times because I want it to stick in. So what is doing your part here? Here's doing your part. Number one, this is not a hobby. This is a business. You must treat it and act like a business. We're going to go over that in more detail next Saturday. But number one, plug into the system. I had an unfortunate incident with somebody on our team who is screaming bloody murder because they had misinformation about how much they would get paid doing what. And when you ask them, what did you think it was? It is completely wrong. I'm like, how in the world did you get that? Well, that's what my sponsor told me when I first got started. When was the last time you were on a presentation? When was the last time you were on a training? 6 months ago? If you were on just one presentation, you would get the facts right. If you were on one training, if you were on our Facebook group, if you were actually opted into our ceostraining.info and got the email update every day, you would know what's going on. So whose fault is it? It's not Sherlock's fault. It's not your sponsor's fault. It's your fault for not plugging into the system. That's like saying, I have a job, but I'm never going to the Monday morning, office meetings. I signed up for college, but I don't wake up to go to class in the morning. But I'm going to get mad that I didn't graduate. You have to plug into the system. And you must, if you want to have long-term residual income, you must make sure that anybody you personally enroll plugs into the system. You don't want the only information they're getting about Sherlock is through you. You want them to have access to the top of the company. Plug into the system. And what is the system? ceostraining.info, first thing to do. ceostraining.info. Now you're going to get the email updates on what's going on directly from the horse's mouth. You don't have to contact your sponsor. When's the next webinar? When's the next training? What's that telephone number? Some of you guys asked me what our conference call number is, and it's been the same exact number for the past 5 years now. I've had the same conference line for 5 years. I've had the same ceostraining.info for 5 years. Does it change? You should have your own Sherlock booklet where you have your information in there. Most of you guys have a Gmail account with what do you call that? Calendar booklet. Have that filled out. PowerTeamMarketing.com. If you just spent time studying that, you would know everything you need to know about this business and the industry. We keep all recordings of our trainings there. In fact, this training right now will go up on the PowerTeamMarketing.com site. Our webinars, everything, our online and offline training, our script, what to say if you want to talk to a customer, what to say if you want to talk to somebody to join the business. Everything is there. We need to update that one. Oh, I see I do need to update that. So scratch Sherlock Power Team for now. In fact, Rod, if you can do me a favor, type in the chat box the link that goes to the live funnel. Our Sherlock live funnel. And then SherlockPresents.com. SherlockPresents.com. That is a generic website that nobody can sign up on. When people say I need to do more research, I want to know more about the Sherlock, SherlockPresents.com has a bunch of videos talking about the Sherlock. That's where we say, can you press play? Can you press play? That's what you do. Go to that website and press play. Here's number 2 of doing your part. Sign up 2 new people and get promoted to Star Affiliates. Sign up 2 people and get promoted to Star Affiliate. You want to do this in your first 24 to 48 hours. Why? Because if you duplicate this, someone told me this to me when I told them the 8-week plan. 8 weeks to $2,450 a month. And this person said, Brandon, that's not good enough. How can I make that in a week? Compress it. It's everything you were going to do in 8 weeks, do it in 8 days. Think about this. Your first day in the business, you enroll 2. Your second day in the business, those 2 enroll 2. Your third day in the business, those 4 enroll 2. If everybody does this within 24 hours, at the end of 8 days, you would have made over $6,000 in bonuses, and you're at $2,450 a month residual income in your first 8 days in the business. You know what we need to do, Rod? We need to mask forward that link right there. In fact, I'll do that tonight. I'll mask forward that into one of the easy domains, SherlockPresents.info or something. But think about that. I can't mask forward that? Alright, just forward. That's all I need. Yeah, same thing. I'll just forward it. But think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Just 8 days. 2, getting 2, getting 2, getting 2. You know who's trying to do that? Overseas people are doing that. That's what they did in Sweden. Peter Blackwell. I remember when he signed up in December. And by mid-February, he was like at, I don't know, $11,000, $12,000. It took him 4 years to make $8,000 a month in his previous company. It took him 2 months to get to over $10,000 a month in Sherlock, because everybody was doing their part. And they weren't doing 2 getting 2, they were doing 4 getting 4. But this is just you doing your part. The third thing you want to do is acquire 50 Sherlock customers in your first week. That's the most easiest thing to do to get customers. You just throw a link up on Facebook and let it go. You got 5,000 Facebook friends. Everybody signs up for free. It's going to be even easier when the mobile app comes out. Wait, who do we have online right now? I'm gonna share some inside secrets right now. And what I'm about to say, please do not run to Facebook and start sharing all this stuff out. This is privileged information for those of you who are on the webinar right now. Those who didn't get on, they missed out. But here's what we've done. There was a company called Rippling, and I don't know if any of you have heard of them. But last year, in 2013, they had probably one of the best marketing programs I have ever seen, next to Solvay when Solvay first launched. But they were able to put in their Ripple over 1 million people into the Ripple. Why? Because it was free to download the app. Over 1 million people around the world signed up into the Ripple in like 4 or 5 months. The company never launched because they couldn't get their act right. But the marketing was spot on. So guess what we did? We hired the person who did the programming on that Ripple. Where the Ripple, you were able to track your Ripple around the world. So what we've done is hired that same guy and is putting into our Sherlock mobile app the same exact thing. So now when you're signing up customers, you're able to track it all over the world that's downloading your app. Like the Ripple. We're just not calling it the Ripple. Oh yeah. When this mobile app comes out, it's going to be crazy. Anyways, that's some inside information there. Just giving you a heads up. But acquire your first 50 Sherlock customers. The Sherlock customers is going to go crazy with this mobile app because you're not having people go to your website. They just download the app and they're good to go. Everything you do on your website, you're going to be able to do on the mobile app. That's why I haven't updated much right now. Our Power Team marketing site, new videos, I'm not doing any of that until I have the app in hand. So I can, because everything is going to be wrapped around the mobile app. The whole company is going to be a new company. Might as well call it Sherlock 3.0. All around the mobile app. I'm going to go out there and get over 1,000 customers by myself, because what they're paying $2 a customer right now, more people are on their app than their computer. More people look at text messages on their phone than they do messages on Facebook and email. Which means more people will use the app on their phone to get deals and savings because they have it on them when they go to the stores than they do on their desktop. Which means more usage income. So I want 1,000 customers through the mobile app. We're going to put together a whole marketing campaign about that. So wait till September rolls around. September is going to mark our 1 year anniversary in Sherlock. And for me personally, it's going to be my starting day all over again, brand new start day, where I'm going to hit global all over again. Things are coming. But acquire your 50 Sherlock customers. All right, I'm not going to go over all that. What I am going to go over, this is the do your part. I want to make sure everybody understands this. Does anybody have any questions about this? Doing your part. This is something you have 100% control over. It doesn't matter who's on your team. It doesn't matter who your upline is. Don't worry about Sherlock Power Team right now. That's old. That's going to be deleted. But doing your part is all about you. You have 100% control over this. Do you think you can find 2 people around the world looking for an opportunity that want to be positioned in the fastest growing industry on the planet? Last week I shared some interesting news. Do I have that article? Let me look for that. That things are happening faster than we expected. I don't have that article in front of me. But things are happening faster than expected. Yes, we are in a 10-year golden age of e-commerce. However, we only have 3 years left of hypergrowth in e-commerce. And Alibaba isn't even public yet. You're going to be able to, over the next years, be able to tell people, I remember a time before Alibaba. Before AB. Or Facebook, before Facebook. Or Google, before Google. I remember a time before that. Because this sucker is going into hyper growth in the industry. After 3 years, it will still have a strong growth rate. Just not like it is right now. And this is not going to happen again. It's not like you're going to shut down the internet and then say, we're going to relaunch the internet, everybody. Everybody has an equal opportunity to get on the starting block. That's not going to happen. This is why when people call me and say, Brandon, are you going to leave? Other people have left. I said, no, I have business sense. I understand where this is going in the future. You've got to be kidding me. There's no way. No way. I almost said a bad word there. No effing way. No way. 10 years from now, I'll be 48 years old. Not even 50 yet. 10 years from now, do you know what they say? The internet is going to be just as important in our lives as electricity is. And no way that I can look at my kids, and I may be a grandpa by that time. My oldest is 15 years old right now. He'll be 25. No way I can look at my family and say, yeah, I had a time, I had a chance. In fact, I was a part of a company where I actually owned part of it. But I gave it away because the short-term gain was more important for me at the time. And now I could have been a multi-millionaire. I gave it away. I'm still hopping from company to company. No way. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you can call it my ego or my pride. And I don't like to say pride because pride can be the downfall of man. It's not even about loyalty. It's about sense of destiny. There's the word. Destiny. Maybe I watched, the men who built America one too many times. I watched the stories of Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, all of the billionaires. And the billionaires, they all say the same thing. Yes, it was hard work. They weren't the smartest cookies in the drawer. But every single one of them say, I took advantage of timing and a little bit of luck. Timing. Positioning. And that's not the one factor that dictates whether you will be successful. It's just that when the timing is there, you take advantage of it. Because others will take advantage of it as well and not have success. That's why I said timing is not the one-all be-all, but it's those that add all of the other skills with the timing that become wealthy. I hope you understand this. I explained this to a CEO last week who offered me the moon and the stars. And I said no. And he said, I don't understand why. I said, that's good for me that you don't understand why. Because the opportunity is that much bigger for me. But I couldn't look my sons in the face. And they're very tech savvy. They understand the internet. My 6-year-old, when he was 3, knew how to work the Kindle before he could read. They understand the industry. And to learn that Dad had a chance to, set our family free for generations, but decided to wake up and go do something else. Are you kidding me? But all that matters is that you are positioned to do your part. I wasn't going to do this, but I am, because we have a little bit of time. I'm going to talk about the feel, felt, found. This is the one skill that I have mastered. That is the reason why I am able to sponsor so many people, close so many people, and have a large organization in everything that I do. And somebody challenged me on that as well. Said, Brandon, who are you? Who are you? Or you're not a millionaire right now. I said, no, I'm not, but I have had a lot of experience in this industry and a lot of success. You might have heard of somebody named Troy Dooley. Has anybody heard of Troy Dooley before? No, let me go. Something that he said here. Let's see. Give me a second to pull this up. But somebody shot me a message. Well, I didn't know that about you, Brandon. So I don't need to go on Facebook and stand in front of a car with a lot of money in my hands. You know, trying to entice people to get into the business. Don't need to do that. That's not what professionals do. Let's see here. What did Troy say? Just give me one more second. I thought this was cool. You've got to be kidding. I'm looking right at the thread. What? And my 6-year-old just came in thinking I'm talking to him. He thinks I'm talking to myself. Hey, Donovan. Come say hi to everybody. I talk about you all the time, and most people never hear you. They see your pictures. Read on the issue. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my 6-year-old son, Donovan Brandon Ivey, right here. He turns 7 years old next month. I'm very proud of him and all the things that he does. And I want him to say hello to everybody, so say hi.
Hi.
All right, you go play. Close my door. He's one of the reasons on why I do what I do. For his future, and not only his future, but his children and his children. It's something that my grandpa said a long time ago. Now, my grandpa said that, you know, as a man, you're responsible not only for yourself and your family, you're responsible for your children and your children's children. You're responsible for 3 generations. Said, wow, think about that. How many of you know the first, middle, and last name of your great-grandfather? Think about that. How many of you know the first, middle, and last name of your great-grandfather? And if you do not, don't be hurt by it. It's just that he didn't leave you anything. Do you think the Bush family knows the name of their patriarch? Do you think the Rockefellers know the name of their great-grandfather? Do you think the Kennedys know the name of their great-grandfather? Yes, it's about, see, I'm about legacy. Maybe I went to Morehouse College and it's legacy, but I'm about legacy. When I look at a company like Sherlock, I'm looking for a company that's going to be a legacy company, not a money game company, not a company that can make just a lot of money over the next 6 months and then I get the, you know, if it goes under, I'll just go join another company. I'm looking for a legacy company. And if you're not, that doesn't mean you're bad. That's okay. Everybody's looking for something different. I'm only sharing what I'm looking for. Here's what Troy had said this morning. That Brandon, Tim, and Christian are multiple home run hitters, having created continuous multi-6 figures in different companies. What he's stating there is that people like myself, these other leaders, have had success no matter what company we're in. I could join another company today and still become a multiple 6-figure earner. It's not about the company. But it is so important that you join the right company. It's about you knowing the skills and having, guess what? In each of those companies, I have not had the same team. The last company that I joined, got 6 figures, had to start from scratch. Sherlock. We're going to get to where we are with a new team. Not the old people that came over from Vitel with us. More than likely, they will quit. It's about the new. New grass always covers up old, dirty mud. So here's a skill that I learned that has allowed me to do what Troy Dooley said I have done. He's been following me for years, watching what we've been doing. It's the feel, felt, found method. This is the method that I first heard the first time from a gentleman named Steve Carter. If you don't know his name, Steve Carter is one of the top producer in a company called 5 Links. What's that, Curtis? Troy Dooley, Brandon, 7 months ago. Brandon, I could not have gotten this far without your support. Troy Dooley? Here's Steve Carter was a regional vice president in a company called ACN. And I heard this in 1999, the feel, felt, found method. And I mastered this method. In fact, I made a YouTube video on this. It's a long time ago. I think I may need to do a new one. But let me pull that up, and I will give the link for you guys. In fact, I'm curious to see what year I did this video. Feel, felt, found. Let's see. Wow, January 6, 2010. Wow. That's the year. That's the beginning. Wow. January 6, 2010. I was 35, 34, 34. Wait, no. 33. I was 33 years old. Wow. So let me pull this link up. Here. Still didn't have hair. Here's the video. This is the one skill that I mastered that is changed my business. So feel, felt, found method. The feel part. Listen. Listen. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. If you use it in that proportion, you will be wealthy and wise. Most people in a conversation only listen long enough, waiting for you to shut up so that they can say what they want to say. While you're talking, they're already thinking about what they're going to say in response. They don't even listen to what the other person is stating. My father taught me a trick about listening in high school. I wasn't the greatest catch in the barrel. Best looking fish. So, I wanted to have girl attention, right? I wanted friends that were girls. And you know, when I was the ugly duckling before the makeover, my dad said, I'm going to teach you a trick that will give you more friends that are women than all of your friends combined. Here's how. He said, shut up and listen. So what do you mean, Dad? He said, high school guys are all about trying to impress. They're on the football team. They're on the basketball team. They're doing this. They drive this car. And they only want to talk about themselves. And a lot of times girls like to hear about the high school guy. But if you want to have the most attention from all the ladies, when you're on the phone with them, Do not talk about you. Talk about them. And act like everything she says is the most interesting thing in the world. And compliment her on everything. And I did. And you know what ended up happening at the end of a conversation? Where I barely said more than 2 or 3 words? She says, "Wow, you are the greatest person to talk to." And in my mind, I'm like, I didn't talk. You did all the talking. I listened because most high school boys never listen to what high school girls have to say. Because to us high school boys, it's boring. We don't want to hear about what you got to say. I'm just being honest. Nothing you say is interesting to us other than what you were wearing or whatever. We're not into the gossip stuff. We don't care about all that. We want to talk about us. But if you listen, she will think you are the greatest conversationalist in the world. I learned that trick. I had more girlfriends than everybody else. I had a lot of friends that weren't my girlfriends, but they were females. And they will always want to call you back because they know you're going to listen. When she has a bad day, when another girl pisses her off, when her teacher got mad at her, she wanted to talk to you. She had an event. So besides talking to her girlfriends about it, it's much better for her talking to you about it because you're a boy. I'm teaching my son that trick, my 15-year-old. But the same goes for life. Same goes when you're married and you have a wife. Naturally, genetically, us men, we are problem solvers. So when our wife comes to us complaining and crying about something, only thing we're thinking about is, all right, what's the solution? Here's the solution. I don't need to hear no more. And she gets mad. Why? Because she doesn't want a solution. She just wants to vent. She doesn't want you to solve the problem. She just wants you to listen to the problem. Guys, understand that? That can save some marriages. Listen. When you're talking to business, about business to people, you ask them certain questions and you shut up and listen. Hey, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? What do you do for a living? How much money would you like to make? Have you been in network marketing before? Great. What company? What do you think were the reasons why you weren't successful? You ask these questions. You shut up and listen. And here's why. Most people will fake it. On the surface, they will make you believe that everything is 100% A-OK, that they're living the Kim Kardashian lifestyle. That everything's perfect. But the more they talk, the more the truth comes out without you having to do anything. I love when I talk to networkers and I'm on the phone with them and I get them talking for more than 5 minutes about themselves. The truth always comes out. Especially when you ask, I call it loaded questions. You can only fake it for so long. Then the truth starts to come out. And when the truth comes out, you learn who this person is, what their desires are, where they want to be, where they want to go, what's going on in their life, what type of personality they are. Shark, whale, dolphin, urchin. When I have a conversation with somebody, give me maybe 30 seconds to a minute, I can tell what type of personality trait they are if I ask certain questions. But you listen. And by listening, you are feeling what they're saying. This is the feel portion of it. You're talking to somebody and they tell you, you know, I'm working a job right now that I can't stand. I'm not making enough money to do all the things I want to do. I feel like I'm trapped. Now, by listening to this and not giving them a solution at the same time, this is what you say. You know, I understand exactly how you feel. I feel your pain. Do you want to know what made Bill Clinton so popular and George H.W. Bush so boring? What made Ronald Reagan so popular? What made John F. Kennedy so popular? What made Al Gore so boring? What made Dole so boring? John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. All of them have the same trait that has made them wildly successful, whether you agree with their politics or not. It doesn't matter if they're a Democrat or Republican. I feel your pain. That was Bill Clinton's motto when he was running for primaries and election. I can relate. I feel your pain. I am not out of touch. They listened. Listen to people. Understand where they are, where they're coming from, what they want. Do not look at them as just another number. Here's the second part after feel. It's called felt. Relate. 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 Relate to them. You may not have the same life story or situation as them, but this is why it's so important that you plug into our events, because you know other people on our team who might have had the same situation as them. And you can say either two things. One, I feel your pain. I felt the same way too. Or I know somebody who felt the same way too. So when they're telling me about their job, you say, you know, I felt the same way. I graduated from college. I worked a job. I got laid off twice. I know what it feels like to go home and look at your wife and say you got laid off and you are the primary source of income coming in. I know what it feels like to look at my son in the face and say you have to wait till Friday, even though your birthday is today, till I get paid so I can get you your birthday present. I know what it feels like to miss lunch because I need to use my lunch money to pay for gas just to get to work. I know what it feels like for the 20 and the 21st of the month to hit. I ran out of money and I still have 8 days left before I get paid. I know what it feels like to try to make $20 stretch for the entire week. I know what it feels like not to know where your future is going to be, to feel helpless. I know what it feels like to have your number one producer in the on your team quit, take their whole team, and leave. That's why I never panic when a leader leaves. So I'll go sign up 5 more and help them become a new leader. I know what it feels like when these things happen. So now, the person that you're talking to, not only do they know you understand what they're saying, but you went through the same thing. You're relating to them. Or, I know somebody who went through that, if you haven't. By this time, the barrier, the wall is down. You never even talked about your business yet. Here's where you close the deal. It's called the found part. Solution, 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 solution. What is the solution? Because there is always a solution. I feel what you're saying. I felt the same way, but you know what I found out? I didn't want to get laid off anymore. I didn't want to have that hanging over me. So I found a solution. And guess what? My solution, I'm now retired. I now wake up when I finish sleeping. I now can come and go as I please. I can go see a movie in the middle of the day on a Tuesday while everybody else is at work. I can take a nap when I feel like it. I don't have to be scared to go to sleep past midnight for fear I may not wake up on time to get in rush hour traffic to go to a job. I can take my grandma to lunch whenever she feels like it, or just go and sit down with her. She's 90 years old. I can spend all day with my son. I remember when my son was younger, because he's 6 now, and there were 2 times where I actually walked off my job and worked from home. The first time, the first time I was laid off, but I was making good money in my company, and I felt I don't need to go and get a second job. That was a mistake. I wasn't making enough at the time, and there's a lot of other factors. But at that time, my son was born at the time, so I was home when he was born, all the way to he was, I don't know, 3 or 4 or whatever. About 3.5, 4 when I had to go back and get a job. And then then at that time was when I built my income back up to the level I was making 3 times from home as I was on my job, and I retired. And my son was 4. And he went to school, and they would say, what does your dad do for a living? And he put down that his dad is a bum, like a homeless guy. He said, my dad lays on the couch all day. What? His dad doesn't work. I make more money than all of the other dads in the room. But the point of it is that his daddy is home. I can come up to his school whenever I feel like it. Surprise him. That's all he knows. See, I grew up, and my father is wildly successful. But I grew up with my dad always at work. With my dad not coming home to 7 or 8 at night every night. That only time I could really get with him was on the weekends. That's what I grew up with. That's not what my sons are growing up with. That's a solution. And you know what? When I share that story with the person I'm talking to, you know what they say? Well, what did you do? Now, people are buying. I am not selling. You don't need to sell your business. You share your business, and people will buy it. I haven't even talked about Shopping Sherlock, and they're all ready to do what. I remember one guy said, I don't know what it is you're doing, but I need to do it too. Where do I sign up? Not even knowing the name of the company. Because here's another rule. People sign up with people, not companies. People are not going to join Shopping Sherlock. They're going to join you. Shopping Sherlock is the icing on the cake. This is why leaders have realized that once they've left and joined another company, they can't build and sustain a team that they had when they were in power team marketing. Because they never developed those skills, that they didn't understand. People sign up with people, not with the company. I could be in the worst company on the planet and still have a large organization. People are signing up with Power Team. We happen to be in a great business. Feel, felt, found. So now that you understand where they're coming from, Now that you can relate to them because you've had a similar experience or you know somebody who has, you share with them your solution without saying, see, this is the one mistake people make. Even once they get to this point, they hear their background. Oh man, you got laid off. You're not making any money over there. Oh man, you got to do what I'm doing. You got to come over here. People don't want to hear that. They don't want to feel like you're talking down to them, that they're losers. You never bash another company. Never. Just because it didn't work for you doesn't mean it's not going to work for somebody else. I had one leader who sang praises for the company, couldn't make it happen for himself, left the company, bashed the company to make the company he's a part of now look good, and a couple of days later, his organization in this company explodes, promoted one global, about to promote 2 more globals, and is overriding an entire country, and he quit the business and has no idea. Just because it didn't work for you doesn't mean it's not going to work for somebody else. This is very important to understand. You don't need to sell this business. You share with other people the solution to your story. That's why stories are also so important. What is your story? And people say, well, Brandon, I haven't had the success yet. I'm not making the money yet. That's okay. You can share with them other people's story in the business, but more importantly, you share your vision on where you want to be and why you think that this is going to make that happen. So I'll give you an example for somebody who's still working a full-time job. Somebody who is a part of Sherlock and has not made a lot of money yet. Here's what I would say. You know, I'm tired of the rat race. I'm tired of the 9 to 5. I'm tired of being broke. I understand exactly where you come from. I'm tired of the threat of getting laid off. But you know what I found out? I found that great opportunities come only once in a lifetime. I got myself positioned in the fastest growing economy on the planet, industry on the planet, in a business that we give away the product for free, a business that saves the average household $150 to $300 a month on items that they're going to buy anyway. In fact, I save money on items, and I live on a fixed income. Do you know what an extra $50 extra will do for me? That's date night with my wife. That's maybe taking the kid to the movies. That's maybe an extra stop at Wingstop. That's being able to pay my cell phone bill on time. Just by saving money. And if I put my head down and go to work, I can earn a full-time income in this business. I'm glad I found this business. And I'm looking for other people who want to have that same vision. You gotta paint a picture. This video has been loaded for everybody. Yes, it has, or it will be. But here's a couple of announcements. Things are about to happen very fast. Very fast. We're going to get to a point where we're putting in about 600 to 700 reps a month on our team. Yeah, right now we're almost at 200 reps a month. 600, 700, maybe even up to 1,000. Things are happening real fast. Now, tomorrow, those of you that's in the tandem, I haven't figured tandem in it. I've just figured on what I've done in the past, and I see how the momentum's going. So it's not just Japan. It probably might be another country. It might be the United States. Even the numbers that Japan is putting in, as good as it is, it's still really nothing yet compared to what we're used to doing. You have to understand, the summer of 2012, our first 30 days, we put 137 people in business, 40 in our first week. Our first 60 days, we had 507 people in business. Our first 90 days, 90 days, 30 days, about 2 weeks later, 15 days later, we had 1,000 on the team. We put 6,000 people in a year and a half. So you divide, I'll do the math here. No, I didn't do that right. 6,000. We're doing about 500 a month. There was one point where we put in 1,000 people in 2 days. Can you fathom that? 1,000 people join your business in 2 days? Yeah. I was a part of a team one time that put in 30,000 people in business in a month and a half. 30,000. We haven't done nothing in Shopping Sherlock yet. Nothing for people to start quitting already. So here's the deal, guys. Focus on the goal and not the task. Focus on the goal and not the task. This is one of my most popular and favorite videos. I listen to this often. So think, I was talking about tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, our team call normally we have it at 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have it at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night. There's a reason why. Because at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have a webinar with Diamond Chuck Williams, and his has been getting better and better every single week. But at 10 p.m., we're having a special webinar with the CEO, the owner of Tandem. It's going to give us some updates and what's happening with the Tandem program. With 4th of July and them getting things set, they haven't actually launched our section yet. So those of you in Tandem, you got an email about our Tandem dashboard where you can actually log into the back office of Tandem and see how many people have they called, how many people have signed up, how many customers you have, all that good stuff. So you're going to hear directly from the owner of Tandem tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Normally, that's the same time for our team call. So the team call is going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern, and the Tandem is going to be at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And then I don't have the time for more announcements. I'll wait for a couple of weeks. The beta on the mobile app, we should see that probably by next week. I don't know when they said we'll see it next week if that's going up on the webinar is on the go-to meeting with Chuck Williams. I'll send out a link for that tomorrow. The team call is conference line only, 712-432-0075. But Tandem is a webinar on the go-to meeting with Chuck. And I forgot what else I was going to say. Anyways, do your part. Do your part. If everybody does their part, everybody walks off their job. Do that and good night, everybody. Bye-bye.